cast iron pots, and they've been used for hundreds of years by many of the pioneers. Hey, that's not a poem. But people have used these down through the years, even in famine times, like when they used the cauldrons, and you see they call them the skillet pots and all those. They're all a type of cast iron, and that should be heating up underneath there. What I have is a little bottle of cooking oil, and it's lovely. A little cork top and a little bottle, and I'm just going to pour in a little bit of that. Basically, you just want to get it on the bottom. But I have everything sort of ready already here, and there's nothing as nice as cooking outdoors. And I have everything set up. We don't need to go through that procedure, and the oil is on it. And so, yeah, let's get ready. Now, this is the lid, but I'm just going to add the meat, and all we need to do is we're going to brown the meat first. And this is some nice beef, and we can put that bad boy up there, and we're just going to let it heat up, get nice and hot. All the juices are in the lid. Yeah. Oh, lovely. As you can see, that meat is starting to cook away lovely, and we're just going to brown it on all sides. Just a little tip about making a pot holder. If you're ever making a pot holder from a branch, try and cut as close as you can to the angle here, because if it comes down too long, sometimes people leave them too long, when you go to lift the lid they only hit the bottom. So it's nice to give yourself always plenty of room. And I have water under there boiling, so I can add my vegetables in a while. So these are homemade spoons and everything you can make. This is like a two-sided spoon. You have a little spoon that side, and when you turn around you have the big spoon. So I'm just going to take the beef off the cooked pot now at the moment, and I'm going to put it over onto the lid because I don't need it for a few minutes. And when you take it all off, just store it away, and we're going to put that somewhere else in a few minutes. As you see, I'm going to leave in the juices from that, and look at that, there's a leaf got into the plate. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my vegetables, and that looks lovely. And I'm going to leave in the meat, the juices that were in there already, because that's going to help give it a flavour. And we're going to put that back. Now, the reason I boiled up some water is because when a cast iron pot gets hot, they stay hot for a very long time. But the problem with them is, if you add cold water to a hot pot, chances are you could crack the pot, and you basically can't fix these pots. So this water is already hot, so I'm going to top it up with nice hot water. Just cover the vegetables, and you can see that. So I'm going to leave that there for a little while, give it a little stirry worry, and we'll leave that there just to heat up, get nice and hot, and we'll keep the fire going. So we'll be back in a little while. Let's see the progress of this, what shall be a delicious. Every now and then I just like to give it a spin like this, and it coils up and it stays turning. And what that helps do is, because there's a hard, not a hard breeze, but you can see the way the wind is blowing the flames and the smoke that way. But what this actually does is, it rather than just have a cold spot here on the pot, it keeps everything uniformly hot. So it's time now to take off the lid. Ah, look at that, you can see it. And inside there's the prati agus na karedi. The prati are the good old potatoes and the carrots inside. And I'm just a basic eater and just the simplest of stuff. And I'm going to pop the beef in there now with this. And what I'll do is I'll let it all, as I say, stew. Hey, and the juices will go in there. And that's all just going to be done together now. And what I'll be doing is, that's beautiful. And you can see now, that's a big pot of stew. So I'm going to put the lid back on this. And it's not too hot on top. But the thing is, all these pots get hot all over. So I use a cloth, and you pop the lid back on. And we're just going to leave that, just leave it alone for a while. But we'll take it up the stew in a little while. Get lost. We'll take it up to stew in a little while, and we'll add a little bit of tomato puree. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And I'm actually hungry, so this will be a gorgeous meal. They say hunger is the best sauce. But this is not sauce, this is a full meal. See, there's one of the most amazing things about bushcraft, or anything got to do with nature. I'll just leave that, the work is done. Now all I do is play the waiting game. And what I can do is, if I had a book, I could sit here, read a book. But you know what's even nicer sometimes? Just to sit here and listen. Even close your eyes. A lot of people who are into meditation, just close your eyes. A dog in the background. A couple of birds. And the sun is starting to set. And we're gone into the winter nights now, so it's going to start getting colder. And obviously loads of storms and stuff is on the way. But things like this really keep our spirits up. As you see, the sun is starting to set already. And we're just going to add a little bit of corn flour that was mixed with water. And this just helps thicken the stew. And because I don't want it too watery, this will just help thicken it. And this is just something you could also make at home. Practice at home and then take it to the field. Or if you don't want to take it to the field, just cook it at home and enjoy it. Always enjoy your food. For some people, it's in scarce quantities, not around here. And we're going to put a little bit of, look, tomato puree in with that. And of course we're going to put that back on, simmer 5 more minutes. Fading light is fading slow, but all that's left to do is have my stew and go. And I'm really looking forward to this, and you can see, beautiful. Oh yeah. And of course you can put anything you want into things like this. Turnips, if you know what turnips are. Turnips were actually the original jack-o'-lanterns. Nowadays they use pumpkins, but when the Irish emigrated to places like the USA, they adopted the pumpkin because the turnip wasn't readily available. So there's a nice little thing for you. And we're already after going through Halloween. And of course Halloween is the time of Samhain. And it's when the ghosts and the ghouls walk the earth again. So people dress up. And it's a great time of the year. But we're going to enjoy this meal. And we have some stew left for tomorrow. As you can tell by the beautiful glow upon my face, that I'm actually just sitting near the fire. And the bottom of the plate is already roasting. That's a good sign that my meal is lovely and warm. But I just want to say, ooh, hot. Ooh. And a nice cup of water. Water is the water of life. You know, we're made up of so much water. But I'm going to eat this meal, I'm going to enjoy this fire, then go upon my travel. Yep. But thank you for joining me on another Bushcraft masterchef. What minute. They say don't speak with your mouth full, but when the food is hot. Oh. But anyway, as these series progresses, we're going to go deeper and deeper back into time, looking at all the different cooking methods, and even going back to Stone Age, different types of food, eliminating the use of pots, eliminating the use of modern day foods like no potatoes. And we're going to start finding things that our Stone Age ancestors would have cooked back in the time, and the methods they used of how to cook it, which is extremely fascinating, if I may use such a fascinating word. But anyway, I just want to say thanks to everybody for all the likes, and especially all the shares on the videos, which is really important. And hopefully as time goes on, there'll be always new stories and new ideas and new guests, of course, which was very interesting. And anyway, thank you very much. I'll sit back and enjoy my dinner.